Welcome back to Appliance Educator. Today we're going to uninstall an induction stovetop and replace it with a far superior induction stovetop. With most induction stovetops, there will be a strip underneath the induction stovetop itself and against the countertop. What we want to do is remove that. You shouldn't ever have silicone or caulking around the induction stovetop. It should be installed with the stripping that came with the unit itself. So here we are underneath the induction stovetop, and here we have our hard wiring. Before we do anything with this, we'll want to turn off the power at the power breaker. This will have a cover on it and a matching one up above underneath the induction as well. So first things first, turn off all the power to this and test the wires to make sure they're not live before we begin anything. But before you begin, we always recommend to hire an electrician or a professional contractor to do this for you, as this electricity is high voltage and very dangerous to work with. Okay, so as we can see here, we got our plate removed with the two screws. Behind it, we have our junction box here. These cords, again, are not live. So we do have our ground, our live and neutral wires. We're gonna have a green, red, and black in the new induction stovetop as well. So what we need to do is, we have our pigtails here, and since this isn't live, we can literally just screw these off. We're gonna have our connections there. So we have freed up our induction stovetop with the wiring here. So we have our electrical removed. We have the wire here. Now the next step is to remove the induction top itself. Typically there are clips on the induction. This unit, when it was installed, apparently there were no clips on it. And if pushed evenly, the unit can come out. It is a little heavy, so we do have our cord here as well, and we'll want to keep this plate. However, the unit itself is ready to remove from the cabinetry. Okay, so we have our plate here as well as our cover. The next step is going to be getting our new range induction stovetop put on here, dropping the wire down and hardwiring it into place. As we can see here, we have 3 sets of wires. These are a much heavier gauge than normal wires, like if we were dealing with an outlet or something with a 3-pronged plug. You can notice that these are not color-coded as red, green, and black. We have 2 black wires and 1 gray wire here, which is our neutral. Before we uninstalled the previous wiring, we took a photograph of that to see which wires go where. Typically, the red and the black wires will connect to both black wires. That is a must. The green wire is a ground wire, and that can connect to this ground wire as well. So we're going to put our stovetop on here, hardwire these fellas, and cap them off with the same caps that we had before. Okay, so we have our induction cooktop here. This is a ZLINE induction cooktop. This is really nice. It has a very sleek top to it. This is actually a shot glass, which is manufactured in Germany, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There are no knobs or buttons on this, so unlike the previous induction cooktop, there's nothing that can really wear and tear on this induction cooktop. There are no knobs that are going to break and you'll have to pay X amount of dollars to replace over time. This is really nice. Also, we have our label here, which has all the information of this cooktop. You can either take a picture of this or take your user manual and on the inside of it, write down the information here. So you have your serial number, the unit, etc., in case there are any warranty issues that may arise. Also, as you can see, we have our wires here. So we have our green, our black, and our red. So as you can see, we have our wiring here, our green, our black, and our red. Our black and our red will connect to the 2 black wires coming out of the wall, whereas the green is our ground, and that's going to connect to the ground wire as well. So here we have our power supply coming from the induction cooktop, and here we have our bracket from our previous install. Essentially, all we were doing is putting our wires through here so that when this installs onto the wall, these have a nice spot to be safe and secure against the wall. That way we have no electrical issues. Make sure that's really on there good. So we have our ground. We need to attach our black and our red in a similar fashion. And this will ensure these have solid connections and are also secure and safe. Last, and most certainly not least, sorry about that. Beauty of shut off the power breaker. But we have our wires here, so you can see our red, our ground, and our black properly wired. We're gonna put these cables away. Put them back in their housing here. Then what we have to do is secure this back in place. The hard part is behind us. We have our induction stovetop hardwired in. We have our power back on, and everything has been successful up to this point. The last and final step is literally just gently placing the induction stovetop into place. There are clips on the sides of the cooktop. Given the original size of your cutout, if the base of this is the right size but the clips are too big, you can remove the clips and just replace the screws. The clips are there really in case the opening is just a tad bigger than the base itself to keep it from wiggling side to side. So without further ado, and that is a very snug fit. Get her working.